I do like the music, but did you actually put the church music at the end?
Yeah, that one's always been there.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe that Sofia Vergara almost got upset in our baddie bracket. Dude, Marissa Tomei almost took her out.
Sophia's not what she used to be, man. I think the more they hear about her, the less they like her. Marissa Tomei, she just keeps it even keel, bro.
Yeah.
She's still hot, you know?
Still don't know if I'm going to go to the game tonight.
In Houston?
Yeah, I want to go, but Wemby being questionable.
They're going to arrest the kid, man.
I mean, should I do it? And it's not a lie this time. I always say that it's BS whenever Pop arrests Wemby, but at the game, you saw him get hurt.
Did you?
But then again, he played balls out the third and fourth quarter, you know, so. Garrett from the Netherlands is already in the house.
What's up, Garrett? And we're streaming live audio on the website now.
Nice.
There you go. Welcome to the Church of the Alamo City Sportscast.
Let us bow our heads as we are in the Church of Sports here in San Antonio. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. My name's Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia is producing today's show. It is Taco Tuesday. Just had some Las Palapas right now. Joe is munching down on sausage and egg tacos right now as we speak.
Yep.
It's a big day in sports, right? The Spurs are trying to go for their first winning streak since December of 2022. Okay, again, a winning streak is not back-to-back games. A winning streak is 3 in a row. And tonight might be without Victor Wembanyama.
This would probably be, if they could get this win, this would be the biggest one of the year without Wemby.
Okay, yeah, it would be. Alive. It would be. So the thing is that I talked with my dad yesterday, and I mentioned this on the show, that I wanted to go to this game in Houston because I thought to myself, you know, I'm a bit of a good luck charm. They've won back-to-back games that I've been in attendance, right?
You and Elias?
Yeah. Spurs are 3-2 with me in the building. So I thought to myself, you know what? Get my dad in the truck. Let's go out to Houston. Let's check out the Spurs. Yeah. Get that third in a row. Wear our Wemby jerseys. And then we get word late last night that Victor Wembanyama is listed as questionable for tonight's game with left shoulder soreness. Now, here's the thing. That made my trip questionable because what I don't want is to drive all the way 2.5 hours, 3 hours down I-10 East, get to the stadium there in Houston and see, starting at center for the San Antonio Spurs at 7 foot, Zach Collins. Dude, if that happens, it would break my heart. So I got to monitor the situation for the next couple of hours or so before deciding to go out there. Haven't bought the tickets yet, but they're pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, they're not expensive, but do you really want to travel all that way just to go see Booty Crumbs Collins?
That's it. That's basically it. And the fact of the matter is that when it comes to the injuries that we hear about the Spurs, I was at that game a couple of nights ago against the Pacers where Victor Wembanyama did jam his shoulder. He did get hit. So it's not BS. If I'm being told that he woke up with soreness, that's not BS. That's a legit thing that happened. The thing is that he went out there and played the fourth quarter perfectly fine. Again, big show today. At some point in this show, we're going to have Carolina Teague on because it is Tuesdays with Teague. We have CT on. We're going to hear about her trip to Indianapolis for the NFL Combine. We'll get into that. Again, the Spurs playing the Rockets tonight. With or without Wemby, we'll find out. Tip off at 7 o'clock today. What an emotional scene yesterday.
Yeah, man.
Seeing Jason Kelce retire. Dude. I mean, it was
in the feels.
It got me in the feels, man. It was like watching Field of Dreams for the first time. I wanted to cry with him.
The final ending
is
Field of Dreams.
Is Jason Kelce the biggest name in football right now?
I think he's,
because Travis is dating Taylor, right?
Yeah.
But Travis is polarizing because some people don't like Taylor Swift. But when it comes to Jason Kelce, Everybody loves Jason Kelce and love his wife, Kylie Kelce. And to see him just get emotional, we'll get into that, the emotion of sports and knowing when to call it quits.
Yeah.
Speaking of knowing when to call it quits, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 has an article talking about how Rob Parker, who's a sports commentator, saying that Pop should retire immediately, should resign because he's done such a bad job as a coach. Ramona Shelburne of ESPN kind of echoing the same sentiment, not as dramatically, but coming out and saying, you know what? Wemby needs to have a good team around him. And if you're thinking Wemby's going to want to stick around for 3 years and be a bottom feeder for 3 years, picking up all these stats and getting awards, but being on a team that's winning 20 games, that you don't know who Wemby is. So we're going to have this conversation about the patience that we should have. Should we have patience with Pop? Because Spurs right now, again, I've been very positive last few days or so when it comes to the Spurs because they've won back-to-back games and they've played a little bit better. But the patience, should we continue with the patience and move forward with Greg Popovich? In Pop, do we trust? Again, you can be part of the show by logging on and checking us out on YouTube and also leaving a comment or two. The best ones are read, and it sometimes dictates the process of the show. We're also going to update the baddie brackets at the end of the show.
Nice.
Yeah, almost an upset last night. Sofia Vergara
in the first round.
Dude, with an hour to go in the poll, Sofia Vergara was losing. I thought she was a shoo-in to get one of the top 2 spots, and she needed last-second votes to advance. We'll get into that, but we have Carolina Teague with us today. CT, the Mike Slayer in the house. Carolina Teague, how you doing, girl?
Tired, exhausted. I had a work call, so I'm sorry I'm a little late, guys.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. So Carolina Teague is fresh from Indianapolis, where she was at the NFL Combine. Before we get into the Spurs talk and all that stuff, the NFL Combine, I mean, how was that experience for you?
It was amazing. I had like one of the best times ever, and I just couldn't believe, how busy it was. I didn't anticipate it being so busy. I should have known better. I've been to Radio Row before, but the Combine was pretty much insane, and I got to see some of the best NFL draft prospects. Well, actually, the best NFL draft prospects. The only one I didn't get to see was Marvin Harrison Jr., who I was really looking forward to. He opted out of the Combine, didn't conduct interviews or anything like that. But I did see Caleb Williams, Drake May, so many talented people, Terrion Arnold, the tech players from UT, got to interview them, ask them if they wanted to stay in Dallas, if they wanted to go to the Texans. And I got some pretty good responses from people, and I had some viral moments on social media. So it was actually worth my time, and I'm really glad I went. And also I'm thankful for you, Jimenez. Thank you so much for being a sponsor to me getting out there, because it was very, very last minute. So the plane tickets were $690 one way and $690 back. It was bananas how expensive it was. But
girl,
I think
you gotta fly Frontier, girl. You gotta fly
Spirit.
Frontier and Spirit. You gotta live that life.
I honestly wanted to, but the problem that I had was that if I were to fly Frontier, I would have had to have left Monday at like 6 a.m. and then it was a 15-hour flight. Wednesday at 6 a.m. and it was a 15-hour flight. So I would have like never made it. So I was like, I need to get there quick.
If she wasn't going to fly Frontier or Spirit, she would have been the pilot.
Exactly. At some point.
By the way, on my way back, the craziest thing happened to me. I didn't even talk about it yesterday on my show, League of Our Own. Some crazy stuff happened at the TSA. It was so eventful. I, saw a bunch of the biggest names in the sports world that you see on TV every day. Mina Kimes, she was there. I said hi to her. I didn't interview her, but I did introduce myself to her. Diana Russini, Stacey Dales, big time players and big time names. And but the most exciting thing was that when I was on my way back back home to San Antonio. I don't know if you guys can hear me still. I'm sorry. I was on my way back home to San Antonio, and there was a gentleman in front of me in TSA. And you know how you have to put your stuff through TSA so they can make sure you don't have any weapons? Okay. So the guy in front of me got stopped, and irate because the TSA agent was like, look, I think you have like a pocket knife or some type of switchblade in here. And I had to get on my plane. So I'm like, come on, bro, like we got to hurry this up. And the guy, he's a Mexicano, or he was Puerto Rican actually. He was like getting irate and he was like, y'all are like targeting me. He was like, I don't have anything in there. You could check it or blah, blah. So then the TSA agent pulls out a big switchblade. he's like, you have a switchblade in here. And he's like, okay, well, give it back to me. And the TSA agent's like, I can't give this back to you. I'm not allowed to by law. And you can't take this on a plane. And he was like, well, are you guys going to compensate me? And he was like, well, we could throw it away, or you can leave TSA, which the wait lines were already really long. He was like, or you can leave and you could throw that away, or you could take out the blade and you could come back. He was like, well, I don't have time for that because my flight's about to be, is about to catch. So he tried to like reach over and grab the blade. And the guy was like, I'm not giving you the blade. Do you want to throw it away? And so he's like about to fight this TSA agent. And I'm like, bro, calm down. Cause I've been, taken to the bottom of the airport before because TSA thought I was a drug mule back in the day. Yeah. So I'm like, bro, I get it. Cause you know, he's a Latino like us. And I'm like, bro, I get it. I feel like you're being targeted. I understand where you're coming from.
He's not being targeted. He's a dumbass for bringing a blade to the airport. Dude,
so hold on, wait. The story gets crazier. So I'm like, bro, I get it. Like, you just need to calm down. He's like, I'm trying to calm down. Like, you know, I'm trying to calm this dude down, right? And I'm like, bro, like, just calm down. I don't want you to get arrested. The next step is they're gonna arrest you if you keep like trying to fight the TSA agent. So I'm trying to calm him down. He's not calming down. This guy walks up, which is his friend, who's trying to calm him down too. He's like, bro, calm down. Like, you're ruining stuff for me. I'm not going to say who it is, but the person who walked up to him was one of the top 10 draft picks for the NFL Combine. So it's me, a top draft prospect for the NFL, trying to calm this irate Hispanic guy down. And finally, because his friend, who I'm not going to say who is a top 10 NFL draft prospect, calmed him down. He finally calmed down because he realized the bigger picture. But it was just insane. And like, I was like, what are the odds that me and a top NFL draft prospect are trying to calm down this guy who has a switchblade? So it was a pretty wild trip overall. And then I get on my other flight, because I had a connector flight. I get on my other flight in Houston, and there a fight was about to erupt because people were arguing about first class. And then I was like, oh my God, this can't get any crazier. And then it turns out
what airline are you flying? Because this, I mean, I didn't realize that Walmart had La Fiesta. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that.
God,
has an airline. But you know, real fast, tall tale time. I've had my crotch grabbed 3 times by TSA.
God.
Where they're like, we think you have something on you, whatever. They pull me off to the side and they're like, sir, we're going to be touching you with the back of our hands. So the TSA agent has touched me, quote unquote, with the back of my hand. Jonathan C reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying, targeted, shaking my head. Man had a blade. He had a blade. Okay, so
it was a razor to his face. Afterwards, he came up to me and he was like, thank you so much for calming me down. And we talked for a little bit, and he ended up telling me that he was an NFL trainer. So, like, what are the odds? It was just like
Chris Gonzalez reaches out to us on YouTube saying World Star.
Yeah, it was some like World Star stuff. Like, I was like, what are the odds? This is insane.
I've been with her on the plane.
Yeah. Dude. Hey, real fast. Speaking of the combine, real fast, if we can show the video that I have on here. I don't know if you saw this, but you mentioned talking to a lot of players from the University of Texas. Xavier Worthy, star wide receiver, ran the fastest 40 time ever at the NFL Combine. 4.21. Screen says 4.22. They reevaluated. It was 4.21, the fastest ever. Now, before this, he was projected to be a second-round draft pick. And now the latest mock drafts coming out show him being at the end of the first round. And the way that he ran through the screen, and he saw his time, and he just kept going. He knew how good he was. The first one was at 4.25. Now, the NFL.com released a mock draft this morning, and they have Xavier Worthy going to the Kansas City Chiefs because they need wide receivers. What are your thoughts on a player like Worthy, a UT guy, kind of just climbing his way up the charts, climbing up his way up the mock drafts because of the performance that the guys have at the combine?
Look at this comment that came in, CT. Don't talk about other men. Mike gets jealous.
I think it's incredible that Xavier Worthy was able to prove himself at the combine. And that's the whole purpose of the combine. You are there. It's like a job interview. If you can perform well at the combine, that raises up your stock a bit. The people who are already solidified in there, like Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., et cetera, who decided not to participate in the combine, it's not necessarily for those type of people because their job's already pretty much solidified. For the people who, might be like a Xavier Worthy where you're projected to go in the second round, this is an opportunity to prove yourself with your interviews, with your medicals, and with your how well you practice or how well you perform in the combine drills. So for Xavier Worthy to run a 4.22 and raise his draft stock, that's what it's all about. So I'm really happy for him.
Now, NFL.com released their mock draft today and found some interesting things about it. First, they have Caleb Williams going number 1 overall. I'm sorry. That is the wrong pick. Caleb Williams might be a decent quarterback out there, but the number 1 quarterback out there, and I am a little bit of a homer when it comes to it all, is Jaden Daniels of LSU. Jaden Daniels had a 73% accuracy throwing the ball beyond 20 yards. Not just the dinks, the 5-yard passes, the 10-yard passes, throwing it 20 yards and above, over a 70% accuracy. This is a guy who can run the ball as well, very athletic. This is a stud player. And for some reason, everyone has a big old crush on Caleb Williams, and I don't get it. We talked about how Merrill Hodge, who's kind of like this draft guru, is coming out saying, don't get Caleb Williams. And the fact of the matter is, you hear stories about Caleb Williams right now. Tell me if this concerns you. Caleb Williams has his father as an agent. And there are a lot of people who are coming out. Sporting News has an article that I'm reading right now saying Caleb Williams red flags explained why USC's quarterback dad, agent, and more could concern NFL teams. It's basically saying, CT, that Caleb Williams has made $10 million approximately in NIL money. So he's not coming in saying, I'm hungry to become an NFL player. He's coming in already with cash in the bank. And the rumor is that his dad, who's kind of serving as his quasi-agent, is trying to circumvent NFL Player Association rules and basically say that he doesn't want his kid to have to sign a rookie deal, that he wants to have a regular deal. But rookies have to sign rookie deals. It's kind of the way the CBA is done. Your concerns, because you are a Bears fan and they're holding the number 1 spot, your concerns that this team is going to draft somebody who might have a questionable character.
Hey, CT, we just had a big tip come in for you from Gert.
Thank you, Garrett. I appreciate it. Yay, I can't thank you so much.
12 euros. 12 euros from Vert.
Yes, my first time receiving euros.
He said a donation for CT because she's the best.
Thank you. Okay, let me tell you how I feel about Caleb Williams, though. He's deemed a generational talent, and you really can't deny when somebody's deemed a generational talent. Look at Victor Wembanyama. He's a generational talent. When I was in the room when Caleb Williams was getting interviewed, I was also in the room when Victor Wembanyama was getting interviewed for Meet the Rookies. And it was comparable to the exact same type of media frenzy for both of these types of generational players. And any team would be lucky to have Caleb Williams. He's very, very accurate. He has a lot of speed. He is a Heisman Trophy winner and has a lot of great football IQ. The issue that people have with Caleb Williams, honestly, is pretty trivial. You can be your own agent. You could be somebody who negotiates your own deals. And you've seen that with Roquan Smith. He negotiated his own deals. I believe Lamar Jackson doesn't even have an agent as well. But the issue for me with Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears is not necessarily his talent. The issue for me, and the consensus is, by the way, that the Bears are going to get Caleb Williams. The issue to me is that he doesn't sound like he wants to be a Bear based off of the verbiage that he gave in the press conference. He basically said, I would be happy to be a Bear, but I'd be happy to be anywhere else as well. Well, he might be saying that just in case the Bears decide to trade down in order to get more draft stock. But at the same time, to me, it doesn't seem like somebody who's eager to be a Chicago Bear, simply because Chicago Bear has a history of regurgitating quarterbacks quite frequently. And their quarterback picks always tend to be kind of picked on in the media, and they never pan out to be the way that they were supposed to pan out. Now, my personal issue with Caleb Williams, not necessarily him on his own. For me, it's chemistry, because the Bears GM, Ryan Poles, is big on chemistry, and Justin Fields played for Ohio State. Marvin Harrison Jr. also played for Ohio State. They didn't have the same coaches. They didn't play on the same team necessarily, but they did run similar offensive styles. So there's already that chemistry built right there. Then you have the connection between DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr., where both of these guys grew up in high school together and they play track and they get along really well. And DJ Moore has come out publicly and said, I want Marvin Harrison Jr. on the team. I want to keep Justin Fields, and let's build together. And I've made this comment before to you guys so many times. Mike Ditka, who is a legendary Bears player, has said so many times that the reason why the Bears can't be successful is because they keep going through quarterbacks or going through coaches. They don't stay consistent with the team. So Justin Fields is not a bad quarterback. It's just he needs the people around him and the pieces around him. And I said this last night, you could put Jesus Christ himself as quarterback. But if you don't have anybody to run the ball properly, if you don't have strong wide receiver talent, with the exception of DJ Moore, if your only strong tight end is Cole Kmet, and you don't have people on the offensive line to block you, so you block the defensive team so that way you don't get sacked, then what's the purpose? Jesus Christ himself wouldn't be able to save the O-line. The problem is the O-line and being able to build the pieces around him. So my problem is not with Caleb Williams. If the Bears get him, so be it. There's nothing I can do about it. That would be great because he's a great player. But the issue for me is chemistry and making sure that the Bears have the right pieces around him. And yes, it is generational talent. That's what the media is deeming it. That's not what I'm saying, but that's what the media is deeming.
I don't know if anybody is considering. I don't know if anyone is considering Caleb Williams to be generational, because there are a lot of detractors out there. There are a lot of people out there who are saying that Caleb Williams isn't even a top 3 quarterback in the draft, much less the number 1 overall. I don't think
who are these people that are saying he's a generational talent then? Why is that everywhere?
It's because he played for a college in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. If he played for Iowa, no one would be considering him that, because Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback. Drake May might actually be a better quarterback. Heck, the guy from Michigan might be as well. But Caleb Williams, if you look at the demands that he's making here, they're outside of the purview of the owners. Like the owners, like there's a collective bargaining agreement already in place. Mm-hmm. He can't make up rules. The last time I saw something like this, it reminded me of Eli Manning, when Eli Manning didn't want to play for the San Diego Chargers, and he bitched and moaned and complained to the point where he ended up going to the Giants instead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. But the thing is that when it comes to rookie deals, they're already set in stone. They know how much money they're going to make. So to your point, he may not necessarily need to have an agent, because his pick is his salary is already predetermined based on whether he's going number 1, number 2, or number 3. But the fact of the matter is that if you want to have a guy that has his dad all over the place, that seems to be an issue. That doesn't work very often. Lamar Jackson's a different thing, man. He's his own man, and he was already on his 2nd and 3rd deal. That's a completely different thing. But NFL.com releasing its mock draft today, having Jaden Daniels going number 2 to the Washington Commanders, which would be concerning to the Dallas Cowboys because Daniels is a good quarterback. Drake May, number 3, going to the Patriots. I found it interesting at number 4, not Marvin Harrison Jr. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. sliding. At number 4, they have Arizona taking another wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, out of LSU. 5, according to this mock draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Chargers. And we go further down, J.J. McCarthy at number 9. We need to talk about this. J.J. McCarthy at number 9. His head coach, Harbaugh, came out and said that McCarthy should be a top 5 pick. And he was saying this when most of the mock drafts had him going 2nd, 3rd round. Because of how he did at the combine, because of how he did towards the end of his year, he is rising up. And what we see yesterday? Russell Wilson getting dumped, getting waived by the Denver Broncos, and the Broncos are going to take a hit that has never been seen before.
Ridiculous, man.
$85 million hit. Okay, the Cowboys right now are going to extend Dak Prescott because they don't want to take a $59 million hit, right? And that makes sense. I mean, that's a large chunk of your salary cap, right? But the Broncos and their head coach, former Saints head coach, Sean Payton, are saying, you know what? We're just going to bite the bullet. We're just going to be done with it. We're going to play with one hand tied behind our back, not be able to sign anybody this year. We don't like Russell Wilson that much, or we're going to get rid of him. We're going to swallow over $80 million of the cap. Should Wilson in 2 seasons had an 11-19 record with the Denver Broncos.
I think his tenure with the Broncos should be classified as a disaster. Broncos never ever traded for Russell Wilson.
Well, when Sean Payton walked in the door, you knew he had it out for Russell Wilson. He called out Russell Wilson saying, why do you have an office here? None of the other players have an office. Why is your entourage here? No other player has an entourage here. And he basically was telling Russell Wilson that he needs to know his role and needs to be part of the team. Russell Wilson came back and said, hey, look, man, I never asked for this. This was given to me by the prior regime. So they were already butting heads before the season ever started, before they ever got together. Sean Payton is a brilliant, brilliant mind, but he's also a jackass. I know this because I'm a Saints fan, and he was our head coach that led us to the Super Bowl, over a decade ago.
Look at this, CT.
I think
Colin Cowherd was a guy who called Williams a generational talent. We know he doesn't know crap.
So with that whole Russell Wilson situation, I think sometimes people should take notes from great coaches, such as Greg Popovich, such as a Phil Jackson. These type of coaches who are great and have multiple rings, multiple championships, a lot of them tend to have some sort of emotional intelligence and know how to handle certain players. You have to tweak how you lead with every single individual player. And obviously, and the most important relationship for a coach to have with their team is with their quarterback. So the fact that Sean Payton and Russell Wilson couldn't mend this relationship is just a testament to the clusterfuck of the Denver Broncos organization. So I don't necessarily pick a side with this, but you knew the writing was on the wall earlier in the season. They were alluding to things, and I'm more of a team Russell Wilson in this situation because I think the Broncos organization should have treated him way better. Russell Wilson is a class act, and you could say he didn't perform the way he should have. There could be a lot of criticism in regard to that, but at the end of the day, I think he's an awesome quarterback, and he's just, to me, he screams like he's a leader. So it's unfortunate they couldn't make it work, but what's even more unfortunate is they took that $85 million hit just to get rid of him, which is like bad.
Chris Gonzalez reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying that Russell Wilson got that 1-2 step. I see what you did there. Russell Wilson married to Sierra. I like what you did there. By the way, if you want to know who is going to be the next quarterback for the Denver Broncos, it's either going to be Jarrett Stidham, who replaced Russell Wilson at the end of the season, or former Dallas Cowboy Ben DiNucci. DiNucci
like that,
is in the house. Now, CT was talking about coaches and trusting of the coaches and great coaches and what they do. Let's pivot to the Spurs here, because we know that Greg Popovich is the guy, right? Locked on Spurs, Ken's 5, Jeff Garcia, Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and on Threads has an article out today talking about how Rob Parker, who's a talking head for, I believe it's FS1, if I'm not mistaken, is saying that Greg Popovich should just resign right now. That he's done a terrible job with Wemby's first year, and that it was kind of echoed in a bit by Ramona Shelburne of ESPN, saying that how long are the Spurs going to sit there and just not do anything to bring help to Victor Wembanyama? Okay, on one end, you have Rob Parker saying Pop should just resign because he's not the guy anymore. On the other side, you have Ramona Shelburne saying if you think that Wemby's going to want to sit there for 2 or 3 years on a 20-win team to hopefully be good on in his 4th season together as a collective unit, then you don't understand who Victor Wembanyama is. So the question becomes about patience. Should the Spurs fans out there be patient with Pop's plan of this, and obviously Brian Wright's plan of making this a long-term deal? Or should Spurs fans be a little bit concerned that maybe these two characters are right by thinking, you know what? Maybe Wemby isn't a patient guy. Maybe Wemby wants help now. So my question for you, CT, it's a very simple question. We ask it all the time around here. In Pop we trust? Do you still trust in Pop?
I do. I trust in him to lead a team, and I trust in him for one more season. The reason why I say one more season is because Pop had said earlier in the season in October, these were his words, that the San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, we could expect to see more wins this year. That was the words out of his mouth. Then the narrative became shifted that we were, as a Spurs team, what we were watching was the Spurs pounding the rock and trying to find, their footing with this young team. And Pop played with the rotations. Pop played with Jeremy Sohan at point guard. We saw these little experiments here and there throughout the season. However, we didn't see more wins throughout the season like Pop had said in October. Those were his words. And I'm just using that as a guide as to what we should have seen, because they had experienced more losses, or they're about to be at a worse record than they were than last year, unless we see this crazy winning streak, which would be great, by the way, and I could be wrong and I'll eat my words, then what we saw this year was more so of a regression. Now, as far as the coaching is concerned, I think he's a great coach. We've seen Victor Wembanyama break records and stats that only Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Michael Jordan have been able to break. But if we don't I think next year would be a really great gauge to see, hey, is this really not going in the right direction? Because by this time next year, the Spurs should have more wins under their belt. Now, if that's whether they bring a veteran presence, how they decide to draft this upcoming season, whatever the case may be, they just need to be in a better position next year than they were at this time around this year.
Hey, we got a comment real quick. Dio says she's good. She knows her stuff. Does she have a show too?
I do. I have a show, League of Our Own. It's on YouTube. Subscribe. We go on every Monday at 8 o'clock. So League of Our Own, Carolina Teague. If you follow me at TT the Mike Slayer, you can find my link to my YouTube channel. I am 20 subscribers away from 500.
Nice.
Well, congratulations. We're going to get you there.
Thank you.
Someone just reached out to us and said, Roy says that Pop should be out next year. Mm-hmm. We have Rob D saying, "In Pop we trust is so outdated, he needs to go." CT, what you were talking about there with one more year of Pop. I know Spurs fans right now are excited because it seems as though the Spurs are playing a little bit differently now than they did in months past. But I got to tell people to pump the brakes a little bit. Spurs won back-to-back games in January, then lost 12 of 13. Mm-hmm. We won back-to-back games now. We are now on a 3-game road trip. Starts tonight in Houston. Then it goes to Sacramento. And then you have another game against Golden State. Mm-hmm. This is, no matter how well the Spurs are playing right now, more than likely going to be the worst team in 51 years that the Spurs have been around. That cannot be overstated. And you said one more year of Pop.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying one more year and fire him. I'm just saying one more year and then let's reassess what's happening.
No. I would say one more year and then fire him. If the Spurs come out again and win 25 games next season, 30 games next season, yeah, it's a fireable offense. It would be an indictment on Pop and Brian Wright if the Spurs went out there again next year and were a lottery team. It's an indictment. Spurs have lost 5 seasons in a row with losing records. If it becomes number 6, it's an indictment on those guys. And that's the thing is that, when you see Ramona Shelburne saying that, hey, we don't know the personality of Wemby. Wemby seems to be more of a Kobe type of guy when it comes to personality than he is a Tim Duncan kind of guy. I think we all assume that because Wemby wears silver and black, that he's Tim Duncan, that he's David Robinson, that he has their patience. But that might not be the thing.
Let me give you a little pushback here, but we go ahead and get rid of Coach Pop. Everybody's on the Fire Pop bandwagon. Right
No.
But I'm saying, hey, you want to go ahead?
I'm not on the Fire Pop bandwagon.
Well, everybody's saying, look, we want him gone because of the record. Some fans, I'm saying what the fans are saying. Mike's like, well, Pop needs to go. But at the end of the day, Wemby and a lot of the comments coming in too are saying the same thing. He wanted to be here because of Coach Pop. The thing is,
I don't believe any of that. I don't believe in it.
He loves Pop.
Dude, it is public relations.
But Wemby has
I don't care
on shows and said he likes Pop.
It is public relations.
But Wemby has said it
out
of his
do
own
you know
mouth.
how public relations it is? Facebook is not real life. Instagram is not real life.
Yeah.
You don't see the arguments or what happens behind closed doors, right?
I get that.
So whenever I hear a player come out and say that they like a certain coach, and it's not just the Spurs, it could be the Lakers, it could be the Dodgers, it could be the Cowboys, whatever. It is public relations to say that you love your coach, that you like your coach, you respect your coach. It is public relations to say, man, I'm glad that the Spurs won the lottery because that's where you're going. If the Rockets had won the lottery, he would have been like, man, I really wanted to be in Houston. If Orlando won the lottery, dude, I would love to play with Paulo, man. That's a dream come true. None of those words mean anything.
I don't believe that.
I believe Wemby, though. He likes Pop.
Public.
He loves Pop.
He might want to. He might like him. I'm not
He
saying
wears Spurs jersey. He wears
I'm not
Spurs when he was a kid.
I'm not saying that is not true. But what I'm saying is that I don't take everything that an athlete says to a reporter's microphone as factual. Okay?
I agree.
You'll see actual and factual back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It is just an interview, because what if he was to come out and say, oh man, can you imagine if he was drafted by the Spurs and he was like, man, I wanted to go to Houston? He would never say that. It's bad PR to do that. So whenever I hear, whenever I see someone post on there, but he said, fill in the blank, it's all bullshit. We don't know what's going on.
I do agree with you, because as somebody who's talked to players before, a lot of things that they say to the reporters is just like you said, trying to keep the peace and keeping it PR, because they feel differently behind the scenes, but they're not going to come out publicly. And I understand why, because look at the backlash they would get if they said how they really felt.
Well, I told the tall tale a few weeks ago when it was a true story about how I interviewed Sean Elliott 25 years ago, and I got him flustered, and he was angry. Well, borderline angry, borderline pissed, kind of just all going off on Dennis Rodman and how he was frustrated with him. That right there was an honest answer to a question. But 99% of the time, it is Dak Prescott standing in front of a microphone saying, I believe in my team, I love my team, I want to be here forever. All of that is just bullshit. They literally have publicists who tell them what to say and how to say. They take classes in this.
So no NBA player is allowed to say how they feel.
And it's also part of their contracts to not disparage certain things of certain people.
So no NBA player and any team can go out there into a podcast or talk to the media and say how they feel about anything.
Draymond
Green.
Green.
You know what? Can I just say, when DeJounte did it, everybody came at DeJounte. When DeJounte told the truth and told how he really felt, everybody bashed DeJounte because he said how he really felt. So when people say that they want people to say how they really feel, they really don't. They really don't. So God forbid somebody says how they really feel, like DeJounte did, and then he would get skewered throughout all of media. So that's why people do that. Because when you have honest people such as a DeJounte who wants to speak his truth, whether you like it or not, people still get upset because they're like, oh, he's ungrateful. He's this, he's that. He's talking about Pop. Who does that? Blah, blah, blah. Well, then what do you want? Do you want honesty, or do you want people to lie to you? So you have this fine line as an athlete. You don't know what to do. Do I say the truth and how I really feel like DeJounte, or do I toe the line like Russell Wilson and just think I'm happy to be a Bronco? Like, I don't think Wemby's lying. I don't think he's lying. I think Wemby's telling the truth because he's still green he's still green in a sense with the Spurs.
He's been a professional player for a handful of years. That's the thing. Okay, so he's a rookie. This is the Ramona Shelburne coming out, right? Saying, this guy isn't a guy who came out of college or came out of the G League and he's a first-year professional player. He's been a professional player for 4 years. Okay?
I'm saying with the Spurs, with Pop, working with Pop. Like he don't know. Yeah, this is his dream team since he was a kid. He used to wear the jerseys.
How do you know that that's the truth?
He was visibly happy when
he was visibly happy because
he was happy when the Rockets got fourth.
Dude,
he wanted to come to San Antonio.
You don't know what is going through somebody's mind.
He was happy to be here.
You don't know anything about what anybody is saying.
So you're saying Wemby's fake? Are you saying Wemby's fake?
I am saying that we do not trust. I don't trust any athlete on what they say unless they're being blunt like DeJounte Murray was, like they're being blunt like Draymond Green. They I can trust. Everybody else, and it doesn't matter if it's Keldon, Devin Vassell, Victor Wembanyama. I don't believe anything that they say.
Make the shirts
to the media.
Now. Mike, don't trust Wemby.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him because what are they going to say? What are they going to say? Oh man, I can't stand playing for Pop.
Oh man,
when is this old man going to leave? They will never say that. They're going to have to toe the line and say a certain thing for PR purposes because it would make headlines. It would rock the boat. We're gonna be over here and saying that we're gonna trust what the Spurs say because Wemby says that he's okay with the rebuild being 4 or 5 years.
A liar.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, what the fuck is going on here? We've only won 14 games. Dude, what I'm saying is when an athlete says something to the media, more often than not, it's PR. Understand that.
But that doesn't mean it applies to Wemby. I'm trying to tell you, I don't think Wemby is lying. It would make sense.
I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that Wemby's lying.
Okay.
That might all be honest truth. That might.
And you know what? And is it wrong? Is it honestly, like, let's be for real. Is it wrong to just keep it cute or keep it on mute? Like, there's really nothing wrong with that because, like, for example, right? Like, let's say you and Joe and me were all beefing with each other, but we had to do a show every goddamn Tuesday. We're gonna put on a regular front and be. You don't want the listeners to know that we're all beefing with each other. You know what I'm saying? So why would we expect Wemby to do that?
Dude,
why would
I did radio shows.
No, I want him to move around. Like, you got to give him praise. It's a business.
I did radio shows where I was beefing with people during commercial breaks, and then you come back and go, "Welcome back." You know.
So you're no different. So you're no different than Wemby in that instance.
Dude, I will sometimes do this show, the most happy, upbeat person in the world, but I'm pissed off because of something that happened at work or a relationship or whatever the case may be. But you just go off and you do your job. Think about Bull Durham, Crash Davis, when he's telling Nick LaLoosh, he's telling LaLoosh, this is the way that you phrase certain things, right?
Yeah.
Dude, even the movie Apollo 13, which is one of my favorite movies, when they're going to go interview the wives, and she goes, "Remember, we're happy and proud. We're happy and proud. We're thrilled, happy and proud. Oh well, I'm just so thrilled, and we're really happy and proud of our husbands." It is all just public relations. It's all. We'll never know. I'm not saying that Wemby's lying.
You just said it was. You don't trust him.
I'm saying that I don't trust any athlete.
Oh my man!
If you want to throw a big old blanket over it, I don't trust any athlete when they talk to the media because we don't know.
We don't know what goes on today, brother. Jeff's already on the
is
chat.
Jeff already going on?
Well, they're gonna send in the little.
We got tagged by Edmund Ortiz right now in a tweet, and it's from Mike Finger, and it says, "I say this without an ounce of exaggeration or hyperbole. I talk to people about the Spurs every day, and all of those people, there is one who is by far the most forward-thinking and relentlessly patient when it comes to the plan. It's the 20-year-old kid, and it's not even close." So he's patient. He's trusting the process. And this is what Mike Finger is saying. He's a writer for the Express News, and he said he talks to people every day. He's the most patient, according to Mike Finger. I mean, does that mean anything to you guys?
No. I don't know. They're gonna. I don't know. They'll let Mike back in the Frost Center after. I don't trust Wemby.
No.
Oh, God, man.
No, I don't. Because when Mike Finger from the Express News, who by the way does a fantastic job with the Express News, He doesn't go with them to the hotel room. He's not having dinner with them.
Oh.
He's not playing video games with them afterwards. He doesn't know what's going on behind closed doors either. Just because you do an interview. Dude, I have done post-game interviews out inside the locker room. I did it for 6 years where I would go to the games and I would go do the post-game interviews. Didn't mean that I knew everything that was going on in the background because they gave me their sound bites and I left.
I just think like actions, and to me, actions speak louder than words in a sense. And we have to really look at that as well. When Kawhi was unhappy, he sat out. Wemby's not sitting out.
He ran away when he was unhappy.
Wemby's not doing anything that would make me believe that he's not happy with the way things are going. He's breaking records. He's performing as best as he possibly can. He continues to say he's trusting the process. There's nothing that shows me that his actions are not aligning with the words coming out of his mouth. The second I see his actions not aligning with the words that he's saying, then I would question what he's saying. If he's sitting out, doesn't want to play anymore, demanding a trade, all those things, then I would be like, okay, Wemby's not telling the truth when he talks to the media. But they align.
We saw a couple of things. Wemby did reinsert himself into the lineup without Pop's permission a couple of weeks ago. Remember when he did that? And then also he has looked frustrated out there. Spernandez, our guy, United States Marine Corps, was at a game in LA the other day, and he tweeted out there that Wemby did not look happy on the sidelines.
Fernandez is always 8 beers in by the time he's tweeting out.
I trust him more than Mike.
So why would Spurs that? Why would, you know what I'm saying? Fernandez is always like drinking, and then he starts tweeting like he don't know what the hell going on. He having a good time.
Drew Show reaches out to us with a $5 super chat. Thank you for the tip. Says, so Brian Windhorst didn't follow Wemby's team for over a year, so suddenly Windhorst is a liar now. Somebody is leaking opposite patients information. So Windhorst has been following this guy around. You know, he was all over France following him around. I trust national media sometimes more than I do local media. It's a different thing, dude. Different vibe. But anyway, I don't know how we got derailed into that. But
because you said you
great topic.
Okay, do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I asked Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When I asked Jeff Garcia, who are the Spurs untradeable players? And he says, well, really, it's only Wemby and Vassell. And I said, oh, so Sohan's tradable. And he goes, I didn't say that, but I put 2 and 2 together, right? So I guess if I'm saying that I don't trust any player, then I guess that means I don't trust Wemby.
We got another $5 chat from the Drew Show here, Mike.
It says Wemby is not stepping down, not skipping steps, diatribe of Pop and the regime. This is what Brian Windhorst is reporting. It's journalism. Respect it. Fernandez catching strays, according to James Molina. No, and that's the thing. National media gets things a little bit more concise because they have no stake in the game. They have no dog in the fight. Look at it this way. If you work for KSAT, WOAI, KENS 5, KABB, you don't want to have your credentials revoked. Therefore, you don't poke the bear. Brian Windhorst doesn't give 2 shits if he pokes at Pop or Brian Wright.
Thank you, Matt Lerma.
National media doesn't.
He said, oh my God, Mike, while talking about Wemby specifically, you said, I don't trust him.
I don't trust any player.
No, you said, I don't trust Wemby. And then you backtrack and said, I don't trust any player.
We'll check the tape.
Only when they held your feet to the fire.
Spurs back in action tonight, taking on the Houston Rockets. 7:00 tip-off. We're going to have no Julian Champagnie. Thank God. Questionable.
Mike, man.
Questionable is Victor Wembanyama with shoulder soreness. I believe it. I don't believe that is something that is a lie because you saw him hurt his shoulder in the second half of the game. So if that's it, that's it. Matt Lerma reaches out to us, the master of all the Twitter spaces, saying, don't be disingenuous, Mike. National media is less biased. You really having dumb takes today. No, dude. I'm sorry. Just because, and I will say this all the time, just because you don't like what is being said does not make it untrue.
And just because that somebody says something that you don't agree with, also it doesn't make it dumb. It's up for debate, and we can argue about it all day long. And if you guys have seen the comments, there's people who agree with Mike. So Mike is saying the things that some people genuinely agree with, and there's people on the other side. But to to say people are being dumb is kind of rude, because nobody's dumb. Everybody, we all go to school. We all know how to read and write. Okay, we're all smart in a way. So it is what it is.
This is the tweet of the day. Mike enters the shower fully clothed.
Have no idea what that means.
That's your boy Elias.
All right, let's go switch gears here. If you can show my screen, this brought me to tears yesterday. Okay, maybe I didn't cry, but still. Jason Kelce retiring, arguably the greatest center in NFL history, part of the all-decade team from the 2010s, Super Bowl champion, brother of Travis Kelce, future brother-in-law of Taylor Swift, more than likely. Jason Kelce called it a career. We kind of knew that was going to be the case because of the way that he was emotional coming off the field when the Eagles lost in the playoffs. But to see a grown man like this, CT, be brought to tears knowing that his football playing career is over, as he's reliving his favorite plays, talking about the Philly special that won the Super Bowl, his only ring, playing against his brother in the Super Bowl, and just to hear him talk about his favorite players throughout the years, his favorite coaches. Jason Kelce retiring. This reminded me a little bit of when David Robinson retired. You know, how sad they were because he played an entire career with just one team. Jason Kelce, I believe, is the most popular NFL player in football right now. I'd have a hard time telling me who's more popular than him. Who's more popular than Jason Kelce right now?
Can't think of anybody, man. The guy's everywhere loved. Right now.
The guy has the #1 podcast in the country when it comes to sports, in New Heights. He drives that show, does a phenomenal job. Travis is there for the ride. This guy drives the show. He is going to be a superstar in the next 2 or 3 years. I think that this is going to be the next guy. Think about who's going to vie for his services. What, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, ESPN, FS1, FanDuel. They're all going to want to have this guy. He's big league. And I'm so happy for him. They're showing photos on, this is from Good Morning America, of Kylie Kelce, his wife. Congratulations to Jason Kelce for what he's doing. Rob D reaches out and says, fake emotion, can't trust him. Jackass.
I love it. Cook. Hashtag cook.
This guy, dude, bite me. All of y'all bite me.
You're going to get cooked today, dude. That's all I know.
Do you know who's cooking? Some guy named Robbie Avila. Robbie Avila is a center for Indiana State as we get ready to go for March Madness. But Robbie Avila, some of the great names that he has here, nicknames, they call him Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
Man.
They call him Larry Blur because he wears these weird glasses.
He kind of looks like the Wild Thing from remember that one
from
movie,
Major League?
Major League.
Yeah, look at this guy going off for 35-8. Look at that. He's 6'10". They call him College Jokic.
Oh man,
dude, this guy's highlight reel.
He can ball, man.
Straight out of YMCA/CYO. This guy.
Yo, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of my brother. My brother is really, really tall. He's shaped kind of like that, like an eraser kind of. My tall brother's big and but one time, my brother plays ball and he's really good at it. And one time these guys were like, oh, we finna whoop your ass. Da, da, da. My brother was dunking on everybody and nobody could believe it because my brother would look like that guy, Avila. So it's just like funny. It literally looks like I'm watching my brother play basketball.
I'm going to claim him for Latinos because his name is Avila, but I couldn't find out what his ethnicity is. But the nicknames, give us a letter grade. Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
I think he did that 7. Wait, letter grade? Probably like a C.
Okay, Larry Blur.
That's an A.
Dude, we have someone to cheer for. They are first place right now in the Missouri Valley. Even if they don't win their tournament, they should be in the March Madness tournament. But this guy is so great. James Molina reaches out and says, LOL, I saw the video, but not going to lie, he's got game and his fundamentals are solid.
No lies detected, man.
Jonathan C says he looks like he just dropped off the kids and has now played at the YMCA. Now,
dude, that guy reminds me so much of my brother. Just like everybody thinks he can't play. My brother can play. My brother's tall. He's a little bit more heavier than my brother, but I mean, it's still like you wouldn't believe that my brother can like play good ball on the court just the way he looks. So
I believe they say that he's 6'10", 270.
Hey, we got a question for you, CT, from Tim Gonzalez. He says, CT, I know you didn't watch the AEW Revolution last Sunday. What was your thoughts on the Sting match?
It was such a good way for him to retire. That was emotional. Like it's for somebody to have a career like that, and for somebody to have a career like that and just be able to go out a legend. Awesome. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is that the WWE did not give AEW any rights to the footage to show how like the impact his career had at the WWE as well. Other than that, I thought it was a beautiful tribute. He went out the right way, and congratulations to Sting on an incredible career.
Man, I didn't even know he was still around. That's amazing. River City Wrestling gets back on March 17th. So if you want to check that out, you can go check out RCW, get your tickets. I had a blast out there, CTMC in the event. So I can't wait for that. Again, that's going to be March 17th. I will probably make a triumphant return and go check it out a second time. I have friends who want to go to that.
Is it on a Sunday?
It is, yes.
Sunday, St. Patrick's Day.
Green beer and everything. It was great times. It was really inexpensive. Had a blast out there. Dude, I'm showing a commercial right now on my screen. I found this to be an interesting topic. The city of Miami is, quote unquote, breaking up with spring breakers this year. And they are releasing these commercials saying, spring breakers, you're not welcome at our beaches this year. Because, as they're showing video, there were 2 fatal shootings last year during spring break. And the residents are pissed off because they're like, you guys are destroying the beach. You guys are partying, drunk driving, all of that stuff. So what the city of Miami is doing, or Miami Beach is doing, they're making parking over $100. You want to come over here and park? Pay over $100 to park here. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a city curfew on the beaches so that people have to bail at a certain time. And basically, the commercial is saying we're breaking up with you because they're saying it's not us, it's you. We're breaking up with you because of you. Your thoughts on a city like Miami Beach? Because when you think of spring break, I think of remember back in the day, it was the spring break on MTV. You had the Carson Daly going from place to place. It was always South Padre Island, and it was Miami Beach. And now Miami Beach. What are your thoughts on this city coming out and saying, you guys are not welcome this year?
Spring break every year during college was some of the best times of my life. With that being said, if I was in college and I saw this commercial, I would go to Miami Beach simply for that reason.
Man.
It would make more people go to Miami Beach. When you tell somebody you can't do something, they're going to want to do it. So this makes me go to Miami Beach even more. Yeah. Like I'll park 60 whatever, like acres away, whatever the hell the distance is. I'll park as far as
look what they're doing. Curfews, bag checks, restricted beach access, DUI check, parking.
Ooh, I'm just gonna put my vodka in a fucking water bottle. Like, who cares? Like,
no,
you know what I'm saying?
I had some wild times at South Padre Island back in the day. When I was
tall tale time.
Okay, you want tall tale?
Girls Gone Wild tried to recruit me, and I was like, hell no, because I was like, no.
Tall tales today.
Yeah, no. Okay, wait a minute. You know how I said that I don't always trust what people say? I'm buying this. You're telling me that Girls Gone Wild tried to recruit you. And how did they try to recruit you? And what made them think they had a chance, CT?
Because there's a lot of ecstasy and Molly back in the day on the beaches, and just everybody's drunk and like high. So and I was with a group of like 12 girls. Like we all like mobbed it to like South Padre Island. So it was like a bunch of us, and we looked like college girls, like just having a good time. Like we were just like deep with like girls. And Girls Gone Wild was there. That's how they get their content. They go to different places at all the spring breaks. They would go to like Miami, South Padre, like all the spring hot spots, Cancun, and they had like a huge banner that said Girls Gone Wild or Girls Gone Wild Bus, and they would just be like, "Yo, y'all want to be on Girls Gone Wild?" You know what I'm saying? That's kind of just how they would approach you. And I was like, "No, because I know later down the line I'll probably regret it." But I did but yeah, it was fun. It was wild. And but one of my friends ended up on a Cops episode at South Padre.
And then another friend was on Cheaters, which was another great show back in the day. Another great show. Hey, real fast, it is we're coming up on the end of the show. We got a few minutes left. I'd like to get into the fact that we're doing the baddie brackets, trying to determine the hottest female celebrity. We're starting out with 64 celebrities, and then I'm going to add a secondary bracket of people that are being nominated to us that we didn't add to it in the first place. Man, we almost had an upset yesterday. Almost had an upset. We were doing the 50 and older crowd. Sofia Vergara barely got the last spot because Marissa Tomei and her were going toe-to-toe down the stretch, but Salma Hayek advances. J-Lo advances. Sofia Vergara advances, and Jennifer Aniston. Strong. We had a poll last night that came out, and it's going to keep going till tonight, but it's about the old school hotties. And I'm surprised at one because I think one of them is not getting love because no one knows her real name. I have Tiffany Amber Thiessen going up against Danielle Fishel, Lacey Chabert, and Danica McKellar. Tiffany Amber Thiessen is by far winning this one. But again, we're taking the top two. Lacey Chabert right now is number 2. Danielle Fishel is 4th place. You know what? If I had put her name from the TV show, Topanga, if it was Topanga, she'd be like 1 or 2.
Number 1, yeah.
Now the other one is tight. We've got Jessica Alba going up against Hilary Duff, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Megan Fox. No one's running away with that one right now. That's going to be going down to
my
the wire.
vote goes to Jessica Alba.
Your vote goes to Jessica Alba?
Yeah.
On that one, for me, yeah, it's
Hilary Duff's a close second.
Hilary Duff's a close second, dude. It's a close second. How do you say no to Jessica Alba? I mean, she's just Latina sweetheart.
These women are beautiful, but what in the fucking barstool hell is going on? What the fuck is going on? Why are we doing a baddies bracket?
It's a baddie bracket in honor of March Madness.
Oh, okay, so it's for baddies. Got it. Okay,
it's a baddie bracket.
Oh,
now, so tonight we're gonna release another set of pods. So what we're doing is we're releasing a poll of Twitter, right, for 4 names. The top 2 advance. And once they get to the Sweet 16, they'll go one-on-one against each other. So my question for you is, what category should we do next? We did old school baddies last night.
Mm-hmm.
You can still vote on it at MJ Acquired Taste.
Mm-hmm.
The 50 and older crowd, people are saying, hey, what happened to Julie Bowen? I love Julie Bowen. We might add her to the list for Modern Family. But the other divisions that we have, and you get to pick which one we're going to do tonight. We can do the quirky division. These are the quirky girls. Some people call them adorkable. That's like Anna Kendrick, Aubrey Plaza, AT&T Lily, Taylor Tomlinson, Zooey Deschanel. These are the quirky girls, right? We could go with the heavy hitters, the Hollywood starlets. You know, like the Gal Gadots and the Scarlett Johanssons and the Ana de Armases, the Margot Robbies, the heavy hitters right there. We can do the pop star division, the Dua Lipas, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Casey Musgraves of the world.
What about BB Rexa?
I think I'm going to kick her out for.
Dude,
no one's going to vote for BB Rexa.
I'll vote for BB.
Or we could do the wrestling hotties, Alexa Bliss and Samantha Irvin and Trish Stratus.
Mike doesn't want to put BB in because he said she's obese.
No, she went from thick with 2 C's to thick with a CK.
Oh, that's a tough one. I got to do the wrestling bracket.
All right, we'll do the wrestling bracket.
I like wrestling, but you got to give me credit. Carolina picked the wrestling brackets. That's where I'm doing the wrestling bracket. But I want, like, who do y'all have? Did y'all put in Bianca Belair? Because she's beautiful. What about Sasha Banks? Like,
we have Sasha Banks. We have Alexa Bliss. We have And if you want me to kick out one, I trust you on this one. Rhea Ripley, Sky Blue.
Come on, Mike. Rhea Ripley.
Somebody told me that one. So who's the one that you said?
I think Bianca Belair, like the EST.
Bianca Blair.
Bianca Belair. She's beautiful.
Selena Vega.
I was gonna say Selena Vega too.
Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton.
Who else is there? I think you know who else is really pretty? Chelsea. I think Chelsea Green is really pretty. Hold on, let me just double check.
Bianca Blair, I'm looking up right now.
Bianca Belair.
Oh, she's cute.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the other one that you were saying?
Bianca Belair, and I also said Selena Vega, Zelina.
I have her in there. People are coming out saying Rhea needs to be on there. We've had several people who've said this.
Ayu Sky. There you go.
Who else? I'm trying to look too. Let's see. Dang, I'm trying to see because there's so many. Oh, Liv Morgan. What the fuck? Why did y'all include Liv Morgan? Alexa Bliss or Liv Morgan? That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss over Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan should also be in there too.
What about the OG hottie, man? Trish Stratus.
Oh, I have her on there.
She's beautiful too.
So I'm gonna put
Leah too is really pretty.
So tell me who the 2 number 1 seeds should be so that I don't keep them in the same pod.
Well, this is hard. God, this is actually really difficult. What about Eva Marie? She's an old school like wrestling hottie.
But it's today's looks.
Oh, today's looks. Damn it. Okay. I'm gonna go with dude, there's a girl on NXT that's really pretty, and I don't have her name right now. Okay, I would go with Alexa Bliss because everybody thinks she's gorgeous. And why don't we do one of Texas No, I don't want to do
Jonathan C reaching out to us on our YouTube stream saying
I'm thinking
Rhea got yams for days. Sean Quintero reaching out saying Stacy Keebler. That's a blast from the past.
Oh, I remember.
I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan. God, this is hard. I can't even like determine out of all them. Sasha Banks.
You said Liv Morgan?
Yeah, I think Liv Morgan is, and Roxanne Perez, but that's my homie. I don't want her in the bracket. I don't know if I should put her in there.
Again, we need to have people who have a chance of winning. You know,
Roxanne is really. She has a big fan base. She's really pretty, and she's Latina. And she's from Texas. Let's see. Okay, so Liv Morgan is like, we're gonna go with the top ones that everybody knows. So Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks. And let's see. What else? I'm trying to see.
So people are coming out saying Tori Wilson, Roxana Perez, Mama Thea. These are all names that I've never heard of before, but I'm gonna trust you guys when it comes to it. But again, the baddie brackets are on MJ Acquire Taste on Twitter.
There's so many wrestling baddies.
The number of votes that we got for Salma Hayek in her pod was ridiculous. Salma Hayek might take it all when it's all said and done. This is San Antonio. She might be 55 years old. Might be 55 years old or 54, whatever she is. But Salma Hayek is really popular.
She still checks out, Mike.
Yeah, I think Trish Stratus would be a good one too. There's so many like beautiful women in the WWE. So I want to choose wrestling. I want to keep it wrestling for sure.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
It's about an hour 10 in. You want to keep going?
I'm questioning Chris Gonzalez's taste because he's like, no to Liv, no to Jessica Alba. Like, what? I'm questioning your taste right now, Chris Gonzalez. Literally.
Mike says, oh, not Mike, but Noah Perez says, I'd let Rhea choke slam me. Rhea Ripley. Oh, look, they said Trish and Alexis Stratus, or no, Alexis.
Alexa Bliss and
Alexa
Trish
Bliss.
Stratus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll let the guys pick who their number one is because I'm not really a woman determiner. Like I just know who beautiful women are. I'll let the guys decide who they like the best. But those are my picks for who should be in the bracket. I would pick some like people from from Texas. Like people have said Thunder Rosa, Roxanne Perez, but I know them personally, so I don't want them to get objectified. I don't know what's going on.
Man, they're already burning Mike again, man. They said Sean Quintero, he's one of Mike's friends.
Sam Salinas said stop picking plastic women.
He stopped picking plastic women.
Oh, you know what? Could Mike handle Nia Jax? I don't think.
Oh no,
handle Nia Jax. She's thick.
Mike is biased
She's
against
thick.
big women. He's biased
She's
against
not
big
even
women.
big.
You don't
She's
like him.
thick. Like
You
a
don't
real
like
man
him.
can handle
You don't
Nia
like
Jax.
him.
Like you
He
have to be a
says
real man.
he can't appreciate all women. He says that the big women, the thick women, are obese. He don't like that.
Mike said that.
Mike said that.
Okay.
He don't mess with him.
Okay.
I'm like, Mike.
I just don't understand like why men don't like thick women. I guess like it's preference for everybody, but I mean, I don't discriminate. If you're thick as hell and you're beautiful and you're skinny or whatever, it's just like how you carry yourself. So to me, it's like not an issue. So like some people are very, very like very picky, and I'm not one of those people.
Oh,
I'm not a picky
man.
person. My crush for a long time was Prince and Dennis Rodman. So I have like zero. I don't care. Like as long as you make me feel a certain type of way, that's all that matters to me. Like,
hey, your boy Sean Quintero, he said Mike had to go rub one out real quick.
I gotta go. I gotta get going, guys. I gotta get going. So I just want to let y'all know. Let me know what y'all pick for the wrestling bracket. But Mike, you don't like thick women? That's crazy to me. Like what the hell?
Oh no, thick with two C's is very nice.
No.
Very nice. I'd rather have them thick than skinny, but
oh no.
Okay, so everybody's saying the opposite. That you wouldn't like somebody like Nia.
Like BB Rexa, Nia Jax.
No, I liked BB Rexa for so long.
No.
But she passed. She went too far.
She's got a condition.
She's got a condition.
She's working out in the gym every day, bro.
Prove to me that she has a condition. Garrett reaching out to us on our YouTube stream saying, "Bye, CT."
Bye, and thank you so much for the tip. It's my first tip on here from €1. So thank you guys so much for the tip. I really appreciate y'all. And tune in next week. Like I said, I'm 20 subscribers away from 500 subscribers on my podcast, League of Our Own. So if you can go subscribe, that'd be awesome. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much for having me on.
All right, bye, CT.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I apologize. That was too much iced tea for me, man. I was looking up at the time going, we have 20 minutes left, and I ain't going to hold it, dude. I ain't going to hold it. I had to run out of here.
Hey, Dio just subbed to CT show. Good on
Very
you, man.
Cool,
thank you,
brother.
man.
Very cool. So have we decided the 8? Because I have on my list here, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Bianca Blair, Sky Blue, Zelina Vega, Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton, Samantha Irvin, and Liv Morgan. That's 9. We got to cut one out.
Damn.
So which one are we cutting, guys? Jonathan C. reaches out and says, fat girl number 1 excuse, I have a thyroid condition. What's that old joke? It runs in my family. No one runs in your family.
Oh, God, man.
I'm big boned. People are saying cut Liv. All right. Liv Morgan.
That's what the people want.
Liv Morgan, you're gone. You're gone. You're gone. So I'm just gonna just randomly select these. So I'm gonna well, the top 2 advance in the pod anyway, so we'll be fine with that. Again, the baddie brackets. You reach out to us. Hey, at MJ Acquired Taste.
Wanted to go ahead and say, man, we're getting closer to our March goal of 750. As far as subscribers go, we're already at 729. So we've met 97.20% of our goal. So we're almost there, man.
And again, we have the QR code on the top left there. If you want to buy us a coffee, this is a way to help the show keep going. Again, I don't pocket a dime, but this is something that's going to be going for things like equipment, to spruce up the show.
We need new headphones, brother.
Yes, we do.
We need new headphones.
We do. But it was nice having Carolina on there, and it was nice for both of you guys to give me shit and throw me under the bus for the first time this week.
You said you don't trust Wemby.
I said I don't trust any player when they talk to the media, dude. I don't.
We got the tape, Mike.
I don't trust any player.
Hey, before we start ending the show, though, we got to go ahead and give some love to Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, make sure you do follow Jeff on, Threads and Twitter, everywhere that you can get his content. Jeff brings you daily Spurs content, and he brings you good Spurs content.
So good that I am the guest on tomorrow's show.
Oh, so good that even you're the star guest. I'm the featured guest. I'm the star.
Yeah, he has some articles out today on Twitter and on Kens5.com. One talking about how Wemby is closing the gap with Rudy Gobert for Defensive Player of the Year honors. The Vegas sportsbooks have him at number 2 right now when it comes to the odds of winning Defensive Player of the Year. Also has some other articles about certain Spurs going out there being part of the community. Asking a question. He had Sweep the League.
Who's the featured guest for today?
Rudy Campos Jr. He had,
yes, sir.
Again, you could follow his show on this network at 2:00, asking the question whether the NBA is going to have a joint Rookie of the Year.
No.
Wemby and Chet. It's happened before.
I heard that nonsense, man, saying that they should have a joint Rookie of the Year. Why? Chet's not a rookie. His rookie season, he was injured.
You're considered a rookie until you take the court.
I understand that, but I mean, technically, the dude's not a rookie. It's his sophomore year.
Well, then technically, David Robinson shouldn't have been Rookie of the Year either.
Well, then it
gotcha.
No, I'm saying it is what it is.
Because that was his 3rd year in the league. He sat out the first 2 years.
He had a commitment with the Navy. I get that. I'm just saying it is what it is. But the thing with Chet is that Wemby has already shown he's the runaway favorite. So why are we going to go ahead and give Chet co-Rookie of the Year if Wemby's already run away with it?
So back in 2000, Elton Brand and Stevie Francis both shared it. Jason Kidd and Grant Hill shared it in 1995. Dave Cowens and Jeff Petrie in 1971. So it's happened before. I think that Wemby has separated himself a bit. In fact, the NBA, the DraftKings Sportsbook is basically saying it's signed, sealed, and delivered at this point. Again, we're going to have a Spurs game against the Rockets tonight, 7 p.m. Rockets here by 8 points, but we may or may not have a Wemby sighting out there.
If Wemby's in the game, you might have the start of a streak there, Mike.
We might. And when are we going to find out?
They're probably going to wait till the very end, dude.
If he's a last-second scratch and Zach Collins out there, should I go out there? Should I make the drive to Houston?
I wouldn't, man. I bet you anything they're not going to play him.
And it's not BS, dude. It's not BS. He did have a shoulder issue in that game.
Yeah,
it was a little bit jammed.
I doubt
he played well. He played well.
Well, when you're injured or you have a little injury and you just keep on, playing through it and you're out there on the court and you're warm, yeah, you're not going to feel it until the next day, So they're probably going to err on the side of caution and just, I would say they're going to sit him, but they just haven't announced it yet because they want to sell as many tickets as possible.
Is it still this? Is it the same shoulder that Britney Spears tapped back in the day when she got manhandled?
Jeez, man. Everybody got mad at that. I remember before the season even started, Wemby already making news.
What's this?
GT'd mess with my parlays. Jimenez is the Gilbert Arenas of San Antonio.
I don't get that. What does that mean?
Nobody likes Gilbert Arenas.
The Agent Zero? He was Agent Zero, right?
Yeah.
Tim Gonzalez says this week on Sweep the League, they're having a college football draft insider.
Nice. Good for them, man. It's always good to see what Rudy Campos and everybody does over there at Sweep the League. So make sure you do go follow. Make sure you do go follow them. They start
from about 2 to 3:30.
2 to 3:30 every day.
It's a good show. It's a good show. Don't forget Generation Duo. When's that coming out?
Generation Duo. I got to get with Brandon Medina. He didn't record last week, so I'm thinking they're going to go ahead and have a new episode out this week. So definitely go ahead and check out the YouTube channel, our Alamo City Podcast Network, and you'll be able to see new episodes.
Fernandez just tweeted out there a retweet because of Elias. Demon time on the pod. It's when he's calling out CT for saying, quotes, sheesh, CT thinks she's an AA counselor all of a sudden. I distinctly remember from what I remember, San Diego was awesome. San Diego won that trip comment. Talking about when she said that, when I said that he reported from the arena that Wemby did not appear happy. She said that he was 8 beers in.
Hey, that's a light night for my boy. It's like, that's my boy, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Fernandez catching strays on the show today, man.
Oh my goodness! But again, we'll find out tonight if Wemby does play. Tip off at 7:00. We shall see. Again, listed as questionable. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Matt Lerma is going to have a Twitter space after the game.
Oh yeah, he'll probably have one before, after, and he has one during halftime. Has one after the game. I'm like, bro, when does he have time to do anything else? He's just like dedicated to the Spurs spaces. So good on you, Matt Lerma. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Very nice. Well, let's call it a show. It is Tuesday afternoon. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Go Spurs, go! Going for the first streak since December of 2022. Let's make it happen. Thank you to all the listeners out there who have been following the show. Hit the like button, by the way.
Yeah,
we see so many names on here. Do us a favor while you're there. Hit the like button. That helps a brother out.
It does, man.
My name is Mikey Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. Thank you for all the tips. We'll be back tomorrow.
Peace.